Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest Cyber Heroes Adventure Show, brought to you by the Cyber Hero Network. I'm Gary Berman. On today's show, we're celebrating International Women's Day and highlighting the groundbreaking work of some special women in the cybersecurity field. Today's show will be chock-a-block with great strategies for kicking down doors and empowering women and girls in tech. So, let's get started. My first guest is Abigail Maines, currently working as a CRO at Hidden Layer, a company that delivers comprehensive security for businesses using machine learning. Abigail, it's so great to have you on the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing what you do and why you do it.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Indeed. So I have to just start off with your cool shirt. Tell me what Fierce is, and it looks like it has a bit of a crown.
Thank you for noticing. So Fierce stands for Females in Every Role Change Everything. This particular piece of merchandise, my co-founder, Rebecca Kahak, created. She's sort of the mind behind the crown. And really, we are a mission-driven organization. I call it a stiletto network, which what that means is we don't care about what your title is or what your bank account or how much money you have in your bank account. We're really just interested in getting women who want to make a big dent in the world together to make the dent even bigger.
So our mission today on our show is to help amplify that. The genesis of today's show was the United Nations effort, referred to as the International Women's and Girls in Science and Technology Day, which was recent. And we want to shine the light on the importance of this. So I can't think of a better guest than you and your mission with Fierce. So tell our audience a little bit about the mission of Fierce.
Sure. Yeah, I think I'm excited to be able to speak with you like on a day where we're sort of bringing awareness to what Fierce sort of spent all of our time thinking about, which is really how do we accelerate women's careers? How do we accelerate girls' or women's academic performance, their political aspirations, their personal aspirations, et cetera. And so Fierce was created in 2020, really when COVID hit, because what we saw were that women were impacted dramatically in the workforce. They became teachers overnight when kids couldn't go to school. And then they became really caregivers to parents whom at the time were getting more sick with COVID. And on top of that, I was running an organization from Canada to Brazil, and everybody was expected to sort of continue on with our work. Instead of traveling, we were on Zoom, but in parallel, you had small children, in parallel, you had sick parents. So we created Fierce to really create an environment where we could rely on each other to sort of power us through what at the time was COVID. In March of 2022, next month, it'll be our 1-year anniversary of sort of being more of a public organization. It was more invite only before. As of March 2022, we've launched the network, and we've really focused on 2 areas. 1, growing the membership, and 2, content. And a lot of the content is specifically related to the things that the UN, International Women and Children's in Science, that's a mouthful of a day, in science, try to highlight, which is, and depending upon the stat you look at, 22 to 25% of technology workers are women. I looked at some statistics around students. Only about 1/3 of researchers in sort of the applied sciences are female. Women researchers get about 1/3 less in grant money. So all of those challenges, which can seem somewhat overwhelming if you're an individual woman sitting in my chair, or my daughter, if you're a 10-year-old daughter sitting in her chair. So really what we use Fierce to do is kind of pull together a bunch of content that helps people frame how are they going to overcome some of these institutional headwinds. And it doesn't have to be like some macroeconomic headwind. It can just be what they're personally facing that day. They have a bad boss. They had a bad result on a test. What are the tools that we at Fierce can give women and girls to sort of rely on themselves to continue to move forward and to not let that sort of derail them? Does that make sense?
Oh, not only does it make sense, I'm already now a big fan based on what you're saying, and anything we can do to support you and women and girls in cybersecurity, we're glad to do so. So one of the most interesting aspects of the importance of women in science and technology is one of the leaders of the UN. Why don't you tell us about her?
Well, it's not that there has never been a female leader of the UN. There has never been a female secretary general. So I would love to celebrate some of the women that are there, but as recently as the fall, when they had the most recent UN meeting, the last secretary general said, it is shameful that we have not had a woman run this organization in our 77-year history. And so, I appreciate everything the UN does. They're an amazing organization who highlight, everything that's been happening to women, particularly in Afghanistan and Iran over the last year. But I do want to manifest, so to speak, that we could have a female leader of the UN sometime in my lifetime.
Did you know that anyone with access to your data could open up your organization to more vulnerabilities? At SideChannel, we merge deep expertise with our innovative software product to ensure that critical data is secure. Vendor lists grow, but your organization's cyber risk level doesn't have to. Learn more about our risk management services at sidechannel.com.
My next guest is Larci Robertson, a cybersecurity powerhouse with more than 20 years in the intelligence and technology field. Larci is currently working as a senior sales engineer at Obsidian Security, but she is so much more than a job title. Larci, I can't wait to talk to you about your accomplishments and career in security. It's so great to have you on the show. Hi, Larci. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
We're so delighted to have you with us, not just in your role as a leader of Women in Cybersecurity, or WOSAC, but also to shine the light on the fact that you have a young daughter who you recently recounted an interesting story about her understanding what you do at work every day. Can you just begin by telling us a little bit about that great story that you just shared?
Oh, sure. So I have one of those silver lining stories from COVID. Just a couple of years ago, everybody's working from home. I wasn't working at Obsidian, but I was doing a different role at a large healthcare organization, and I was doing some project management. So bringing, service delivery, bringing controls onto our, endpoints or applications or whatever. Mm-hmm. So my daughter got to sit in on that while she was, doing school from home, and saw what I was doing and said, oh my gosh, I think I could do that. Now, project management is not my thing. I did a very, I'm very process driven and mission oriented. So I felt like I was getting something done. And that was something that I was passionate about. But explaining to her that, you don't have to be a hacker or write code or, do these extreme technical things. Just need to, be well-rounded in understanding networking and in cybersecurity in general to do a great job and have a huge impact, because project management is what drives and moves the needle sometimes when it comes to improving your posture at any organization. So she got to see that and said, I think I want to try to do that. And so she is following in my footsteps, but very slowly. But, she's young and she's got time. So we'll just make sure we get her on the right track soon.
That's super cool. And just to build on that point, one of the things that I learned a little while ago from the National NICE, National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education, part of NIST, is that there are actually just around 50 plus roles in cybersecurity that, kind of fit with precisely what you were just saying. We do communications. And don't call me to, fix a laptop. It's not going to happen.
Right. So, yeah, a lot of that is part of what I do in the Women of Security group is we talk about all of the roles. And I'm pretty sure that almost every single woman that comes to my meetups has a different title, a different role, a different purpose at their organization. So we do talk about what's the day in the life of, project manager or, incident responder. So everybody can hear, especially the new people that are looking for some direction of what they should do, because they're students and they're getting a general overview of cybersecurity. So this can give them exposure to see what that actually looks like. No one wants to study to be a hacker to find out that their day is really, really stressful and probably not fitting into their app, into their what they think would be fun for the day. And learning from others what that looks like could be quite helpful.
Indeed. And so you were one of the founders of the organization, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm the board president of our nonprofit here in Dallas, but we are global. So I started back in 2019. I met with the founder, the actual founder, Tanya Janka, at RSA actually, and then I went home and started my own chapter in Dallas.
Emily Donahue has been working in the communications field for more than 20 years. We first met when she was directing PR for the risk intelligence company Rain. Hi, Emily. Glad to see you.
Hey, Gary. How are you?
It's nice to see you again.
You too.
Thank you. And today's topic is incredibly important. How do
Yes.
we address the challenges and opportunities of women and girls in technology in support of United Nations efforts to do so? So I thought about you because we met in a very interesting way, talking quite a bit about technology and cybersecurity. So maybe you can just give our audience a brief origin story.
Sure. Gary, you and I met when I was working as the PR communications director for a fabulous risk intelligence company called RAIN, the Risk Assistance Network and Exchange. And they focus really across the board on risks for businesses globally and, from physical security to cybersecurity and everything in between. And I really became passionate about the cybersecurity topic. And so I reached out to you and asked if you would host some of our experts on your show.
Indeed. And it was incredibly interesting and engaging, not just listening to your experts, but getting to know you. And so one of the things you can enlighten our audience about is, what's it like being a woman in technology and science and education, and what are some of the challenges and opportunities that you see?
Well, I've been very lucky. I've been blessed to be working for corporations that are very inclusive and very supportive of women. But just as the high-tech industry has been dominated by males, especially in the United States for most of its history, so is the field of cybersecurity. And, it is a crucial need for businesses amid the near constant, as you know, threat of cyber attack. But it's a difficult growth path, career path for women. And I've been lucky enough to meet several wonderful women working in this field who really shine a light on the challenges and who have shined a light on the opportunities for women.
Yvonne Eskenzi is the owner of Exkenzi Public Relations, and Yvonne and I met some years ago because she runs something wonderfully out of Europe in London called the Unsung Cyber Hero Award. Welcome to the show, Yvonne. You have an annual event celebrating women. I don't want to mess up the name. Can you just tell our audience the name?
It's the Most Inspiring Women in Cyber Awards this November.
Yeah. So what are the criteria for that? There's so many different ways to inspire people.
So these are women who have really mentored other women. They've really grown up in the industry and they've done something really kind of impressive in their companies. And this will be the third, we've done 1, 2, 3, this will be our 4th year. And last year we did it at the top of the BT Tower in London, which is phenomenal. The BT Tower spins around very slowly at the top of London. And it was something that I was never that, it was something that we kind of, a really amazing guy called Ron Condon, who was the editor of SC magazine and came to work with us on the IT Security Guru, wanted us to do. He was really kind of like, we need to kind of do this award. It's going to be an amazing thing to do. And I was always very much like, why do we need an award for women when women, what's the difference? As I said before, I've never really kind of thought of myself as any different to a man in business. I've had all the same struggles. I have felt, because I've never been prejudiced in any way. However, when we started doing the awards, I'm so pleased I did them, because that's when I really did realize that I've had a unique life, because I have been the CEO of a company and run it myself, and I've been in charge and no one beats me up, and I run my own roost, and I'm in charge of it. What I didn't realize, and only when we took these awards on, did I actually realize that women really do suffer in cybersecurity, because, like I said, when I walk I only have to go to physical events and be exposed to this whole massive array of males. What I have discovered is women in cybersecurity jobs as analysts or programmers or whatever they may be doing, they're surrounded by a lot of men. And that's incredibly hard. You know, they're all making male jokes, stupid dad jokes. They're kind of quite sexist. They're very, all sorts of things that the women have turned around and said to me. And I myself have had lots of things happen to me in my life as a woman, kind of, I started my work in 1995. I mean, the men that have come on to me and done all sorts of things to me and expected me to do all sorts of things for them, because I grew up I was doing PR and press work on Fleet Street then, and what men would expect me to do if I wanted to get a story when I first came out of university staggered me and totally naive. What they, and I was working at News International, and what people would expect you to do if you wanted a job at News International, it just is incredible. And it seems that women still in cybersecurity are the ones who walk into a room and they're the only ones in that room. Now, if you do that day in, day out as a job, that's pretty grating, it's demoralizing. And that's the thing I've learned from running the awards, why so many women are getting they are inspiring, because they're sticking together, they're mentoring each other, they are toughening each other up, and actually kind of saying, look, this isn't necessarily normal. What I went through in my 20s, now another 35, 40 years later is not normal. So what went on when we were growing up would never happen now. So women are far better off now, but it's still tough when you walk into a male environment. And I've seen it on the exhibition floors, where I've seen it. And all the events, if you go to RSA, it's different, but it's certainly not easy for these women, which is why we do try and we vote. People put the nominations in for women that they really who have been inspiring and are leaders and have done an awful lot to do what they can in their workspace to actually encourage other women to come forward, grow them, and do well in their own environments.
Hello world. It's March 8th, 2023. Welcome to a new edition of Cyber Briefing by Cyber Material. Cyber Alerts. A warning has been issued of an ongoing exploitation of critical VMware flaw. 3 vulnerabilities have been added by CISA to KEV list. Google patches more than 50 Android vulnerabilities. Cyber incidents. 3 terabytes of data have been stolen from Brazilian firm. Hamburg University hit by ransomware attack. Cyber news. Microsoft Excel blocks untrusted XLL add-in. This cyber briefing was brought to you by Saint, your artificial intelligence newscaster. Produced by cybermaterial.com in collaboration with the Cyber Hero Network.
Our next guest is Sofia V. She's the Chief Technology Officer of Supremely Development. Hi, Sofia. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Gary. Thank you for having me. How are you?
So today's show is focusing on shining the light on all the amazing women, or sampling anyways, of the amazing women in cybersecurity. What's your takeaway for how it's going for women in your experience? Like, what's the trend line? How does it look, through your experience?
Well, actually, as women in technology, I can say that we have challenges and opportunities at the same time. One of the challenges that we may face are the lack of role models, like people like in leadership roles, like women in tech industry, which is kind of difficult for girls to look up to. So I wanted to be one of those women that girls look up to and say, you know what, there's another girl doing this, so we can do it too. And on the opportunity side, I can say that because there's a growing demand of tech skills, I feel like there's a lot of room for girls and women to grow into. And because we need skilled workers and we can do it. So this presents a big opportunity for us.
Indeed. One of the interesting things that I've learned from it was a NIST organization, the National Initiative on Cybersecurity Education, is there are actually over 50 different roles in cybersecurity. So, what would your advice be to your colleagues in the next generation of girls? Maybe they're not oriented for coding or tech, but they still can contribute and have great careers.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do in cyber that doesn't require for you to code or to analyze malware. You can do a lot of governance and analysis of data. And also you can do some technical writing, even though if you're not putting your hands on code or analyzing the specific things. So there's a lot of soft skills that are still required in cybersecurity. And I think girls and women, they can do that too, as well as doing the hard code, like coding and analyzing malware, creating, different red teams or techniques, or developing software that can analyze, trends in cybersecurity and those stuff.
Well, and also in the soft skills, like what we're doing at this moment, communications. And
Yes.
one of the challenges of this sector is people think it's just too complicated. So, what are your thoughts about just the idea of communication and marketing and those kinds of skills?
I mean, different people have different skills. Some people are like more well versed on speaking and being in front of the camera. So everything depends on the personality and how the person is and how they feel comfortable like communicating about cybersecurity. But I think the fact that we are considering cybersecurity as a hot topic and things that we have to discuss about, it's a big step like in solving a lot of issues that we are facing today in the community.
Indeed. And, just as we're wrapping up here, one of the cool things is that we're going to be including a daily cyber briefing, to our digital universe. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how that's generated and the use of artificial intelligence?
Okay, that's great. So as part of my job too is to be part of a team that we are creating a cyber briefing. This is weekly from Monday to Friday. It comes out every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And it's like a sneak peeks about the takes of what is happening in cyber today with alerts, incidents, and news. So what we consider alerts are like things that advisories from CISA or the Canadian Cybersecurity Center, and they give you kind of like how like you need to patch or you need to update. And then you get incidents like, for example, ransomwares or data breaches. And then you get news, which are related to cybersecurity, but you don't have to do anything, like they arrest some gang member or something like that. And this cyber briefing is 1 minute short. So you just listen to the headline. And then if you want, you can keep reading the entire newsletter that we have with the entire article and everything. And we are partnering with the Cyber Hero Network. And we are really happy to have you on board.
Well, it's a privilege for us as well. And I said it earlier, but it bears repeating. Sofia, thank you for who you are and what you do, and most importantly, why you do it.
Thank you, Gary, for having me.
Take care.
Bye.
While advances in technology are the main driver for economic growth today, they also contribute to a higher incidence of cyber attacks online. Using enhanced technologies to identify and stop a cyber attack, IT-ISAC enables collaboration and sharing of relevant, actionable cyber threat information and effective security policies and practices, and has been recognized by the Department of Homeland Security and the IT Sector Coordinating Council as the designated information sharing forum.
As all of you know, the Cyber Hero Network was built to amplify and differentiate brands from competitors. We work with you to distill complicated cyber technology and information into a fun, engaging manner, making your messages more effective and sticky in the minds of your target customer. Learn more about the Cyber Hero Network and how we can power your business to success at cyberheroescomics.com. In the meantime, stay tuned for more adventures right here on LinkedIn, on your YouTube channel, and on Twitter. I'll see you back here in no time. Thanks for watching.